And we are back, ready to jump into map 1 between Envy versus 100 Thieves. The agent select occurring on screen now, and we'll get to see what flavor each team will be bringing to this first map in the series. My name is Bach. Joining me on the show, Van Silly, to kick it here on the mainstream. Anything we should expect to see here? Anything that's catching you off guard? I think for the most part, this falls in line with what we've seen from these teams throughout this third stage of Challengers.
Correct. I think the new flavor, at least this stage for 100 Thieves, and we've seen it for the different maps or the different matches for 100 Thieves, is that you actually have Ethan coming out from the Sage into a Sky, and also Asuna switching out from a Phoenix playing a Jet. And I do like it because it does change 100 Thieves' strategy a bit, especially on the defense, where you kind of have Ethan playing more towards the garage. They're okay with playing a more passive C side. They're putting a lot of mid control at first too, and of course a double initiator I think is always great into the new meta. I can't wait to see it once KO comes into the next Challenger stage as well, but we could definitely talk about that in about 2 weeks. For Envy, I think nothing changes, right? We talked about it before. This is pretty much a similar comp. They seem to be comfortable playing without an Astra right now because this double duelist comp, you just want to have Mummy and Victor activate together to open the sites. So I think this is still looking pretty good. Both teams are very good on map rotations as well. So this is going to be a nice head-to-head.
Hiko, of course, trolling with the agent selection.
No,
we will potentially see Hiko play Viper on Breeze throughout this tournament, but not going to be anywhere else. Probably just going to be Sova everywhere. There's still the possibility that we see Hiko flex to the Breach that we saw in Stage 2 if they play Split. They haven't played Split yet, and I'm not really sure what we should anticipate or expect. There's actually a couple of scenarios like that where we don't really know what's going to happen. Like, we're not fully sure what agent composition we'll get from Envy on Icebox, because I think the only time we saw it was like one of the first or earlier rounds in the open qualifier. And like, you kind of take that with a grain of salt. Like, sometimes they're like, okay, we're just much better than this team. We're going to try something different and see what happens. Just kind of like have fun playing a different role, because they know there's a massive skill gap there in the early stages of an open qualifier. But curious to see if we end up getting to that place when we do potentially go to Icebox later in the series. Just waiting for things to load in, and we'll be jumping into Haven, the very first map in the series. Again, winner moves on into the upper finals and gets a spot. The Challengers playoffs will be played out in August, and obviously the spot on the line there is the chance to go to Berlin to play at Masters.
Right here.
Starting off this pistol round here, we do have 100 Thieves on the attack. Ethan going with a Frenzy and 2 flashes, actually. He already used one in the beginning so he could take mid control. And looks like they're going very fast towards his C side, actually.
There's the hot hands coming out, as well as a Paranoia. Smokes inside the window. Counter Paranoia coming out from back towards spawn. Crashies is in the window. There's great damage being dealt currently to 100 Thieves, and they're licking the wounds and retreating. 22 HP for Asuna. Hiko on 75. Ethan down to 22. And no heal for Ethan, so no opportunity to top off those players. And this is huge. Victor getting aggressive in mid, and right behind him is Marv. There's trade potential, and they're going to catch the lurk. If they catch this lurk, they're pretty much going to sniff out that this is C. The problem is that there's no one C, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't get the flank. At least they got rid of the utility from Cypher. Now they can play a retake on a 5-player rotation. What's going to be dangerous for 100 Thieves at this point is that they won't even really know where to look out for, right? So they have to position, they have to play inside the site. And due to the fact that you bought 2 flashes and also a Frenzy, you don't have a regrowth to bring the HP back up for 100 Thieves.
You also have a recon dart coming out, as well as an owl drone, so this is going to give a lot of information as they come around the corner. The dart giving away their positions on both sides. Nitro decides to swing wide towards the CT spawn, but it doesn't work out so well as Mummy is there waiting, and the trades are piling up in favor of Envy. Nice shock dart coming out from Hiko, but it's a parting gift as Envy picks up the round. They got aggressive through Garage, but they left C-Long open, and it almost created an opportunity for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think that at that point for Envy, though, and I say this a lot too, is when you lose a certain part of a map control on defense, it's nice to fight back on the other end as well. So when you see that C is about to get hit at the beginning, and you see that 100 Thieves are falling back because you're holding it very well for Envy, they push back out towards grass, where a lot of utility and a lot of bodies were already committed down towards the long C. So it left a huge gap. And when you're actually playing a Cypher and you place that camera still on the A side, you don't really have anything watching mid. So I like how Envy took advantage of that and just pushed forward to get that flank going. So this is now going to put 100 Thieves. Actually, they're force buying out of this. So it went down to a 3 versus 1. They got a spike plant. They're going for a force buy. And this is actually pretty even in terms of the firepower for both of these teams.
Yeah, the beauty of that spike plant, just giving them a little bit of extra cash. Right now, the economy in Valorant is so awkward in these second rounds sometimes, but the power of the Marshal cannot be understated. Mummy with the Marshal, we'll see if he's able to pop off here. They do have quite a bit of firepower grouping up on A, and it looks like they're going to be pressuring in that direction in just a moment. Mummy has to be careful, can't get too aggressive here, as there are a lot of players waiting around the corner. There's the shot coming in, somehow not punished, able to get away, and it's actually the follow-up from Victor. No shots landed on the Marshal, 20 HP for Mummy. And it stalled out the take for just a moment, but there's still more players on the site. Victor does fall, crashes around the corner with the ghost, taken down by Ethan. Mummy able to grab one, but this is the power of that force buy. They've got a 3-on-2 right now, and the spike is being planted.
Very nicely done here. And the big paranoia. This is going to allow FNS to probably get around the left side corner and could actually get the backstab here, and he will onto Asuna, make it a 2v2. One more towards long. He goes low on HP, and he doesn't have any shock darts to work with. So they have to try to go for these body peeks and try to clutch now.
Marv has a free kill basically towards short. Does take significant damage. Hiko's got a recon dart to try to get some information. There's 2 players waiting around the corner. All they have to do is catch him on the peak. Marv is going to stick it, and FNS is there. So a little bit scary for Envy. They end up coming out on top, but it's a costly round. And it puts them in an awkward position in the round that follows. I'm curious to see what 100 Thieves does to react here, because the cash might put them in force again territory.
Yeah, I believe so as well. It could be a gamble if they want to continue it, just to continue to hurt the economy of Envy at the same time, because it was a bonus round for Envy no matter what. They should be good on decent amount of guns. You see them upgrading here, but they're going for the earlier choice, which is going to be a full save, except for Sheriff for Steel, which is great. The fact that Mummy pushed forward, I think that was totally fine. He could dash away and actually bait it out so that his teammates could actually get the kills onto the A side. So well done here on utilization of the kit from Mummy. Now for 100 Thieves, they just want to try to form this orb, but we're spraying through smokes. The power of the Phantom through smokes. The first blood capitalized by Envy.
And Asuna gets away with 2 HP. And again, there is no heal for Ethan, so there is no way to put Asuna back on full HP. So Asuna is going to be heavily hamstrung for the remainder of the round. It does look like they want to potentially go towards B. Vic is there with the curveball. A follow-up curve potentially coming out as they try to make their way on site, and they're just getting slaughtered, as one would expect.
There you go.
Ethan actually taken down by the turret. It's a really solid round for Envy. As bad as the last round was, this round really helps them kind of cement the foothold on the money, because they were able to keep 5 alive.
Yeah, and you know that FNS, he studies these teams a lot. He studies now the game a lot as well, of course, being the IGL for their team. So understanding that 100 Thieves are going to be on an eco into that round, most of the save rounds will be a rush towards his B side for an easier plant. And you saw where he placed that Nanoswarm in that B cubby at the outside. So if they try to go for a pulse plant and they're able to survive out of that, they're still going to be low HP, no armor into the corners, and it could do a lot of damage. And he did so against Hiko. So great positioning, great adjustment to put all the Killjoy utility on that B side to do a lot of deniability, and now we look for the action towards this A side chokehold.
Dog goes in towards short, gives away some information. Woo! And that'll be Vic going down after the ult was canceled. That's a player advantage, and there's that regrowth. The nice heal to bring the teammate back up. Got Nitro currently just hanging out outside garage. You can see how complacent 100 Thieves is to play this slow after getting that early pickup. They know that Envy is coming in with a force buy, or not a force buy, excuse me, a bonus round with the SMGs from the previous, so they have this thought in their heads that they're maybe going to play a little bit aggressive, just like they did on A, and you can see that thought is not inaccurate. Mummy pushing up, caught out. There's Crashies who's going to get traded, and things have gone really well here in the early round for 100 Thieves.
Going to be super easy now, noticing where the Seekers are going. At least they know one's garage, but not necessarily knowing where actually FNS is. And there you go. They finally spot him face to face. A Spectre versus a Phantom is not going to work out too much. And 100 Thieves, they will not Well, Envy will not be able to capitalize on another bonus round here. It's going to be 100 Thieves with the first point on the board. But I got to say, it was a nice little teamwork going on there from Steel and from Ethan at that point. Like, knowing that you have a Sky right now, knowing that you can push aggressively through a Blaze Wall and go for the high-risk plays because you could actually get a heal back. And you saw that even Ethan threw a Guided Light down towards Long so that Steel could actually fall back into safety. So a little bit of communication that works very well for 100 Thieves to control that A-side battle into their favor and easily win this round.
The Flash 2 at the end didn't look like it had too much of a visual impact on FNS, but it gave away the position. You could hear it say that it found one, so the Flash kind of gave the cue that there was one on site, and the swing works out. Because if you remember, Ethan was kind of low, sitting around 60 HP. FNS was full boat with an SMG. That's certainly a winnable duel. Could get in a better position and kind of turn things around a little bit there. Now they spot one out in Garage right around the corner, and the spam's already coming through. They'll escape with full HP at that. The question is whether or not 100 Thieves will have enough to get past Mummy with the op. They're going to be moving in a different direction. He's playing towards Garage. They're playing full A retake. Look at the way that KJ is postured currently on the A site, all the way back towards spawn. They're willing to surrender this site and go for the retake.
It is going to be a very interesting one. At least the alarm bot is down towards sewers, so it's probably going to get broken very soon here for 100 Thieves. So Envy is it's going to make it a little bit more difficult for Envy to try to play this retake. They don't have a Killjoy ult. They have the Blade Storm, but they have to rely here on the information that's going to come out from Crashies.
Hot hands going up around the corner. Paranoia as well. That forces the Cypher into position. I love what they're doing with Mummy, but Mummy just gets spammed down. Hiko's actually able to pick up 2 with the ult. And that happened so quick. Snap your fingers and the round is over. It's a flawless round victory. Envy gives 100 Thieves too much cushion, and they just power through that A site and hold it within their grasp. 100 Thieves bringing it closer to a tie point. The money for Envy should be pretty bad at this point.
Yeah, that's why it was interesting what they were trying to do for Envy, because so for a couple of rounds now, they've been putting this alarm bot towards sewers. They want to play a more passive A side, but they don't have that much in terms of retake. I like the idea, though. They had the paranoia from Marv. They had the hot hands being thrown towards Graffiti, and you try to dash in with Mummy's Knives towards that top and try to catch some people from 100 Thieves off guard. But when you already have 5 players inside the site with the way that 100 Thieves plays with the crossfire, good enough for them to get that win. So this forces now Envy going to be on a half buy. A plant easily done towards this B site. You're trying to look for some information around here and trying to go for flanks, but everything's being held by 100 Thieves. All angles are covered. It's not going to be an easy win here for Envy. We should see a tied game now, 3-3.
Envy fans everywhere were concerned when you started hyping up the team in the pregame.
I know
you and Envy have this interesting history with hyping up that roster. You know, it did start out great for Envy. Obviously, they win the first 3 rounds, but if you really look back, the second round was rough. You know, they almost lost that. It was definitely not a pretty round. It was a good retake that put them back in the captain's position. But now FNS is the only one left alive. It's a 1-on-5. It will be another flawless round, and almost completely flawless when you look at the damage that was dealt. Minor damage dealt to Asuna and Steel. A strong round victory coming out from 100 Thieves. And we're at a tie point right now. The buy should come in this time, but I don't know if they'll actually have enough for an op.
I don't think so at this point, but at the same time for Envy, I'd like to see a little bit more of this orb control, right? Something that we kind of know Envy for usually, especially for Victor on the attacker side. But the defender side, we've seen a lot of it in maybe stage 2, where that recon dart goes for his choke, and then they just grab the orb, and then they try to position out of that right after. But you see instead, Victor is looking to work towards mid by himself. The recon dart's still going to come out, and Victor's just playing an off angle, trying to go for an early pick towards window. So it's changed a little bit on how Envy wants to play this this defender side. They just think that 100 Thieves are going to continue to play aggressively, and they just want to try to fight back that way with the retake plays.
They also flashed towards short early on, and I'm pretty sure they got the intel as Mummy was going for a peek. Steel has gone ahead and dropped the cage to try to escape. He knows he's got players trapped on long. There's a tripwire going down. Asuna catches FNS coming through. Has to worry there's one waiting around the corner, but it doesn't seem to stop him now. The spike's been stuck, and they've got it just about halfway. Vic has to pull off. That actually could end up being punishing here, as Ethan's coming from the same spot. And again, the spike does not get to halfway. Not that it matters anyway. Mummy's on the site, the last player remaining. 100 Thieves looking great the last 4 rounds.
Man, the conditioning that 100 Thieves has currently, working out the extremities with Steel first, and now they're working towards mid a lot because you're putting Killjoy abilities towards the A side. They're playing this map quite well to their own style here for 100 Thieves, and Envy is always guessing on their toes what to do, how can they figure things out, and I think that's where you're going to start seeing potentially 100 Thieves into the next, or sorry, Envy into the next few rounds, try to play a little bit more aggressively and try to get a little bit more information. This time it is aggressive because it's a half buy, so they're going to try to go for this mid-side take, but we'll have to see towards the gun rounds later.
Look at Victor pushing up in mid. Oh, the timing is so unfortunate. Just shift his crosshair at the wrong time. Can't quite catch them. Look at the rebound, my goodness. Dude got snapped back in time hard. Still, this is a 2-on-2. This is not that bad for Envy right now, given what they brought into the round to get it to this point, and there's weapons down that they can easily pick up. Now, Victor's going to take out the Seekers, or at least take out the ones intended for him.
Uh-oh.
But look at this wrap play. They heard the footsteps. They know there's a potential that they're here. The dog's going to go out. There's the peek, and now it's all on FNS with 11 HP. Just looking to spill some blood here and not even going to get a chance. Asuna is too aware, too woke for that. 5 rounds straight for 100 Thieves. The ult is online now as well for Asuna, so the knives are a threat you really have to concern yourself with.
Yeah, at some point it looked very doable for Envy, but that's the beauty of not being able to use your, or not using your abilities that early, because you weren't forced to use them early. So Ethan still had a full kit on that 2 versus 2. So Seeker came out, Trailblazer came out, and it gave enough information for his teammate to swing out to get the kill because he saw that Victor was pushing down. But that mid-side take, this is something that's really nice because Steel so far, that always works usually towards this A-side choke, puts that camera down towards Sewer. So mid could be open quite often, and that's exactly what's happening right now. There's nothing watching mid, and Phoenix is already back on this flank with Victor.
Great dink shot coming out. More damage being dealt to Nitro than you'd expect based on the fact that that first shot came through. They do, however, have one up on site already. There's a tripwire around the corner, and that's going to keep them at bay. They have to shoot it. Nitro knows he's got players behind him, just trying to buy time at this point. Paranoia comes out, the smokes come out. Now, in the meantime, Mummy has actually managed to pick off Ethan. But there's the Killjoy ult to try to get them back into the site. The spike has not been planted. Steel does have the Odin, but the LMG not able to fire enough bullets fast enough to get the kill. He goes around the corner, and there's just targets dancing around on the edges of that smoke, making it difficult. Finally, Envy put themselves back on the board with round number 4, but it's been a while since they've been in that position.
Yeah, Victor made things a little bit difficult there for Hiko to try to get that kill, but taking that mid control, it seems as though 100 Thieves are sort of prepared for that one too, because Nitro's playing all the way back from spawn, and it's not the first time to do that, right? Like I said, if the camera's not going towards mid side, and you're not able to gather that much information, you're working the extremities on both sides, you just have somebody watching flank and making sure that you can punish Envy on a push, but Envy had 3 players moving up on that area. With that said, that allowed 100 Thieves to just push into the site, but you're going against a Killjoy lockdown where you don't have 100's Fury yet going to go back. And now let's see what happens. We're going to have a blind ult. Actually, there's been a ping, and Nitro's the first to fall.
All right, the smoke comes out instead of the shot to take care of the dart. I don't think he would have been able to get the pistol out in time. Look at this play, though. Crashy's able to catch one. I'm not sure he anticipates the second, but it doesn't matter. Enough staying power to live through the fight. And now it's down to 2. This feels like the rounds that were going in the direction of 100 Thieves, as Hiko's the only one left standing, and it's a flawless round victory coming in for Envy. We're back to a tie point, and this is exactly what you need to do if you're Envy to try to get back into this game, because it was starting to look really rough towards that middle part of this first half.
Well, even then, that's what you have to do for Envy, is exactly landing your shots, because technically right now for Crashies, he's not necessarily in a position where he should be able to win that fight. And unfortunately, a spray coming out from Steel with the Vandal doesn't fully connect versus the Phantom coming out from Crashies at that point to hold that A site. If not, that was an open site, potential rotation towards A, but when you're landing your shots like that and you get a flawless, you're bringing that confidence back. 100 Thieves in this round, they're looking for something very fast on this mid take as well, but you do have FNS ready for this.
Oh, Steel picked off on short. They used the drone to get in close, and there's the Venn diagram of nanoswarms on the site to prevent the plant. Now, Marv picked off. That's going to cause them to move in a different direction. Nitro is wondering where he got tagged from, trying to figure it out. But positions given away. as they try to get their way towards the C site.
Nice.
First, it's the flash coming out. Now Mummy's in trouble, missing the first shot, having to smoke the dart as well to prevent his position from being given away. Asuna already gone on the site. There's the quick trade as well after Asuna falls. It's a 3-on-2. The two remaining, Victor and Crashies. 1-2 punch, who transferred over to this team and brought a new life to them. First kill is going to go the way of Victor, and now it's down to just one player, but it's Hiko, the clutch god. Nothing is ever guaranteed. The shock dart comes out. Gets a little aggressive with the second shock dart, but it works. They don't peek wide enough. Thought they would. Low HP coming in. It's going to be Hiko with the Red Bull clutch. A big 1v2 to seal the deal and grab round number 6 of the first half.
Oh my god, when I saw Victor and Crashies together, usually ending number 1 and number 2 after every ranked season, going up against the clutch master himself, I didn't know who to go for at that point, and Hiko just continues to show that patience is a virtue, that the experience does tie into this game, or any game that you come from with the pedigree that you had in your esports career, and he clutched that beautifully, and that was just very well done, at least for 100 Thieves to even get into the site. The guided light to come out to force Mummy out of position, to not allow Mummy to get these kills, and speaking about kills, it's just going to be Victor working down towards his sewer again. Crashies moving forward, and again, it's the Victor and Crashies show looking for a couple more kills. There's a dink through the wall, and we have shock darts coming out too, and he connects onto Ethan. Oh no, my god, he's got everything on lockdown here, Bach.
The second shock dart was questionable, but it worked. Now, Nitro does have his ult available, so he'll go ahead and port over to the C site. At the very least, get a spike plant out. It's a 1v4. Not to say he's incapable of clutching, but it's certainly going to be difficult. The first kill will go the way of Nitro. He's got 2 more coming through from Garage Fake Port to make them guess and wonder on his position. Smoke's going to go down right in front of him. I actually love the way he set this one up because he can play off this smoke so well. He steps inside. He's got a target right to his left, and he's got a target who's now on top of the spike. He's got to peek towards it. He's a little bit afraid. There's another one coming in from Nitro. 72 HP. Goes to the sidearm. Oh, gets caught cycling weapons. There was an opportunity there, a moment where it looked like it was going to happen, but it doesn't. And we will have a 6-6 score as we close out the first half. No.
What?
No. Oh my god.
Am I watching G2 playing Counter-Strike?
Good lord.
Switching sides.
I don't even know what to say about that.
What just happened?
They were both on site. It was the last round. What are you picking up?
I need this.
That's a Red Bull clutch. Nitro gets the clutch despite the fact that he was dead. So, I guess great work, but that was very disappointing. A miscomm coming in from Envy that results in a round loss that should never happen at this level of play.
Dude, I'm speechless, man.
Yes.
Twitch
What the hell?
that one.
What just happened? Because he was already halfway defused as well for Mummy. So
I mean,
it's a 2 versus 1. You got plenty of time, easily killed, and yeah, you
and
got
again, it's
cut.
the last round. Why don't you just
know.
defuse it? There's
don't
no
know.
reason to have to fuse. There's no value.
It's social
Unless it's
media
like-
coming out here. The social media account says we just want to add more rounds. We want to make it close, and we want to make it a close game. But it's already a close game. It's a 7-5 right now into the second half here, Mark. Let's just reset, continue, turn the page, and Envy are looking to bust out towards the C site, at least with Mummy to start things out and try to clear out this area. That's just to try to play a fake, because they tried to get a bit towards the A site control, but now that Mummy is well positioned, you see everybody rotate back towards C.
Steel was checking on the cross, but doesn't spot them and does get timing to bit, but it's nice shots at least on the first target. Meanwhile, a great flash coming out from Ethan, but the frenzy kind of not working out so well. It gets paranoid from the side. There's kills happening on all angles. Trades going in multiple directions, but it's currently Envy who is in control. They still have not yet planted the spike. So even though they have site control, they haven't done much with it. It's Nitro in a 1v3. And luckily, if the spike's planted, he can't really win the round if he's dead. So, at least that's another threat that's taken off the table. Envy do end up getting that 6th round. They just took an extra round to find it. They win the pistol round in the second half, and hopefully that's enough to help them forget the little bit of a bumble that happened there towards the end of that first half.
And that's how you want to recompose at the same time too, because it did look quite close as well. They got control of the site. They never really got into a plant two, and there was actually a lot of trades happening at the same time as well, right? So it got close. To be able to win that pistol round, you bring that, you shift that back. You shift that confidence back into your favor. You turn the page, like I mentioned before, and now you just refocus. You're playing the anti-eco for Envy at this time. You're looking for a mid-take. You're expecting this push coming out right now on that mid side, but it's actually a lot of damage that's being done so far from both ends, and finally, Envy capitalizes on top.
Nice Yuto coming out as well to try and get Asuna out of position. It's like they went for the tactical nuke there, as they had a shock dart and hot hands on top of a player with no armor. Steel, who's playing across the map with just a shorty, doesn't have to worry about the KJ util. Now, we'll be able to upgrade potentially, but it's just a Spectre, and there's Mummy holding it down with the Marshal. We are tied at 7 apiece. 4 players survive, so it should be a bonus round coming in from Envy, a full buy coming out from 100 Thieves.
So this bonus, we want to know what we could do here. I like the fact that we played aggressively to fight back towards this mid side. I'm not against it at the same time, especially you see how aggressively you have Victor trying to move out and get a couple of kills so he could build up the ultimate points. But he's only got 1 so far, so they have to try to group up a little bit more probably into this round and try to really set up some great trades to work towards what seems to be the A site to start.
Standing ahead.
Early recon dart. Nice double shock dart bounce. Takes out the tripwire and does decent damage to Hiko, stripping his armor down to 10, doing 7 damage to his HP. But look at what's waiting for them on this A site. They've got 3 players here. There's the dog to go in first. Steel actually peeks back behind that. Now the dog does run into Mummy, but they'll be able to grab that spike, and they'll be able to disappear off the site as well. An owl drone coming out. They've used a lot of utility to try to keep them at bay. They're using an owl drone on the other side to make sure that the flank is clear. There's still a lot of players around this corner, and Ethan, even just going for this peek is a little bit risky, but they catch Crashies in the drone. Ethan's able to find a second one. Nice flash coming out as well to scare them away, and Ethan escapes. Great mid-round recovery there. After losing an early battle, they regain control of short, and they punish Envy by trapping them all in this small square on long A.
Ethan's still battling on Suras at the same time. It's going to be the bait and switch. You focus on Ethan, you got a couple in the back of the site. It's not going to be doable here, and Ethan even makes a 4K on top of that. So that's going to be Seekers ready into the next round. That's an important one, too, when you want to try to play the same type of rotation style that I was telling you guys about before in the chat. That both of these teams do like to play a lot of rotates on this map. So bring that Seeker back. Those snakes are going to be a little bit harder to hold now, or harder to execute for Envy. So you really have to try to get him out of the equation early through the round. Sorry about that.
It's funny, early on, I felt like the Seeker's ult was just not really that good, but it's grown on me over time as the meta of the game has really shifted. Asuna in position with an op. Will they be ready for this one? The flash doesn't go wide enough around the corner, and Asuna actually misses. A rare miss coming out from the young fragger for 100 Thieves. And that gives them a lot more mid-control than maybe they would have bargained for. The problem is they feel a little bit scared to peek this one. They've got support coming in as well. Steel's calling it out now that a barrel has been spotted. He'll be able to shoot this drone and take care of FNS. There's the shot coming in from Asuna. That drops the spike. Another one through the cyber cage as Mummy goes back to try to grab the spike. And again, you've got yourselves at limited numbers. It's down to Marved and Marved alone. And that'll be a 3rd shot coming in from Asuna, catching him on the backside of Garage as 100 Thieves does what they did in that first half. Slow start, but they pick up in the middle.
There's nothing you can really take away from that one, at least for Envy. It's just one of those timing moments where when Still catches one already lurking towards that top and they're unaware of that, Still already knows that hit's coming towards B because they're not even looking towards the entrance. There's not that much utility being launched in the beginning, so you're looking for a set piece into that B site. That rotation to come across, Asuna with the operator inside the B site is a very hard pillar to tumble down, actually trying to get into B. So 100 Thieves, they've regathered their strength here once the gun rounds started coming, forcing Envy back on an eco, and they're looking to work back towards this A side. And this is going to be a round where you're going to have the Killjoy ult into the next round, no matter what, unless you win somehow this eco.
Nice flash coming out to at least slow them down. It's just pistols waiting around the corner. Good shock dart. Nitro's going to port across the corner. He's got crossfire support, and Envy. They initially wanted to put some pressure on A, but they realized this ain't working. So they're going to bail out and head back across the map. They've still got Cypher in position on C. That would be Steel, who's got his tripwires, his cam, all waiting for them on the site. So, like, this is a pretty decent setup. The problem is
you still have
could
full
get
kit.
traded
Get
out.
out of my way.
Yeah, you still have full kit for Envy. You're going to dash away with this as well. It's going to be a hard spot here, and even taking them out. There you go.
Yeah, that's an early pickup, and now that's a weapon pickup as well. Now, the Seekers do come out to try to help things.
Ooh.
You can see Mummy was struggling with, do I pull out my gun and kill this Seeker? He just tries to moonwalk away, but can't get away far enough. Marv down to 1 HP after the shock dart comes through. They're trying to do what they can, as the Killjoy ult has been popped to try to keep them away from the site. It's a 2-on-2, though. Marv's still alive with only 1 HP. And there's that Killjoy ult just providing a little bit of extra time. Ethan also low on 1 HP. It's really a battle between Victor and Nitro. As the flash comes out from both sides, there's the peek. Marv able to pick up a kill with 1 HP. Marv is actually going to get the last 2. That is a big thrifty round coming in for Envy.
A huge one. I said technically it wasn't going to be winnable, but you know me with casters cursing. So Envy getting that eco quite beautifully, and we mentioned it before, getting into the site. So even if they showed presence for Envy down towards sewers in the beginning, they didn't waste that much on their end. They actually forced out the paranoia from Nitro down towards sewers. They fall back, full execution, utility dump onto the C site, overtake the site, and on top of that, when Victor picks up a rifle that close, when they already have site control, definitely a menace into the site, and Envy is able to pick up that huge round, and even putting Asuna in a position where he can't opt. He does have Blade Storm, and we're looking for a fast hit towards the A site.
Speed is the name of the game as they try to gain access to the A site, like you said. Mummy has to be careful, caught in the tripwire. Steel spraying in all directions, manages to get a few kills there before going down. The site's been secured, but safety is not guaranteed. Got to be careful about the flank play that's coming through, and they know that there's one on the flank. I love this maneuver. Oh, they just get away. Asuna spotted them, but didn't get a chance to get a knife out. That could actually be worse for Envy than good, as Asuna now knows, and you can see they're already sending players away. He's got pings going down in spawn saying, this is where they're running, this is where they're at. Ethan catches him over on the site, and I'm sure there's that conversation going on. What are you doing? Why are you here? Marv, inside the window, not prepared. Fast was the name of the game for Envy. But it was okay for 100 Thieves to watch them play that way. They end up with 3 surviving and double digits on the board.
It's just simple communication that works very well, and you can already know what the communication was like in the comms of the compound of 100 Thieves. Because yes, Asuna saw that flank coming towards the A side, and watch that replay or watch a VOD later on to see where those pings came. Because Nitro was holding towards sewers. He didn't hear any footsteps coming out towards A link, so he's pinging. They're going through spawn, and then they ping out danger coming through spawn. It's going to be towards defender spawn, and already there, Ethan's position, waiting and ready to just get those kills right after. So just beautiful display on adapting on such a fast hit against Envy on the A site. And speaking of fast adaptation, it's just a fast dash after Asuna picks this pick off FNS and makes it a 5 versus 3.
Shot down.
Nico trying to slow down the push, recovers the recoil. Steel starts to spam through. A little bit of a one-way there. Can see feet at the bottom. But there was a smoke down that prevented full vision, and it's all on Crashies to do some additional damage. Does have Spike, but it's a 1v5, and he's surrounded. So realistically, it's trying to take guns away, and Asuna is having none of that. You know, when we came into this game, we compared Asuna versus Mummy, and it feels like, for the most part, Asuna has had it pretty well dialed in, whereas Mummy hasn't really clicked as well.
Yeah.
Part of that was, like, economic control got a little funky for Envy. But it also was like A take when he's on C, C take when he's on A. They don't go
And
B
just
when he
back
plays
control.
mid.
Just simple scaling as well for 100 Thieves. Like I mentioned before, a simple guided light coming out from Ethan forces Mummy to shoot the bird or dash away, and he's just going to be an off angle where he has to land a shot or die because he can't dash away from anything else right after. But even after that, when he actually get the guided light, you saw that full execution that came into the site, even a paranoia into the C site. He's just overwhelmed by the amount of utility that 100 Thieves have getting into sites. So this is where like the difference is not only when you're looking and comparing stats, it's really really not just about the head-to-head and looking at player versus player, where, yes, of course, a player popping off is going to help a team. But you have to look at the composition overall here, chat. I'm just talking to chat here. So that you understand how the utility is so important for the team to actually execute and actually win together, because you can't have just somebody dry peek into a site. That's where the operative Mummy is going to shine.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the information gathering capabilities. Obviously on Envy you have KJ and you've got Sova, but they've got Cypher, Sova, and Sky on the other side.
Exactly.
And Sky's information gathering is like a different level because it's also a flash and it's also a stun. So there's just a little bit more oomph behind it, and then the ult as well coming in. You've got a lot of information gathering on their side. Well, Envy took a tactical timeout. You can't really blame them. There's the dart going down, plus the ult early, looking for information, and actually not connecting with a single target. And now it's Hiko who's been tagged by a dart. He has to run away as Victor has popped his ult, and he'll go ahead and throw hot hands down just to try to keep them from running towards the site. There's the information gain. They almost didn't get any, but Steel is already on the flank, watching for the body of the Phoenix. The Phoenix had already jumped out window, though, before the ult was popped. It was Marv who was up in window, got caught off guard, and now it's all up to Mummy. We talked about him. Coming into the pregame, it was him versus Asuna. Will he shine here in a 1 versus 3? Tiger comes out around the corner. Yeah, good luck. Stunned and dazed, he tries to retreat, but 12 rounds is on for 100 Thieves. They've guaranteed overtime at the very least on map number 1.
Wow, and how did nobody watch Steel pushing potentially up down towards long A, right? So one of the basic ones of putting that Killjoy ult, the Killjoy turret on the top of spawn. I actually didn't check the minimap. There's potential that maybe FNS did put it and it was smoked out by Nitro to allow Steel to push up. I'll have to look back and see what happened, but at the same time, that was like the most crucial kill that pivoted actually 100 Thieves for an easy victory into the B site, because outside of that, Envy did a great job to create space and take full control inside the B site at least.
Missed shot from Asuna, but information gained. There's also a flash, guiding light sent out through the doors by Ethan. They've got Neural Theft, they've got the Seekers available on the defense. The attacking side, no ults currently, and they're not close really to any of them. FNS would need an orb kill and a spike. We're at orb/kill and spike. Does have spike currently, could potentially grab the A-long orb. It would set them up for post-plant if they can gain access to the site. I like the way they're currently utilizing the Cypher utility on A, where Cypher is actually playing on B. There's the Cage coming in, shock darts to follow, recon darts out. It's chaos on the site right now. Pandemonium as Hiko is not prepared for Mame, who's lurking around inside the cover on site. And there's the spike plant we were talking about as the Seekers come out. FNS will stick it, but FNS did not get an orb or a kill first, so there is no ult here available just yet. Mame trying to lock it down, doesn't have the op. This time he's doing it with the rifle. It's now down to 2, Asuna and Ethan. Ethan coming through from spawn. The guided light gives away the information, but the kill is not gathered up, as Mame has now found 3 kills on the round, goes for the knives. Once the guarantee here, has to be careful as that smoke dissipates. The hand will show around the corner. Asuna now is trying to isolate in this 1v1 with Crashies, but still gets bested in the end. Envy do survive for the time being and find round number 9.
I just love it. That was, at my point, intentional to have the hand just stick out so you could have the wallbang attempt, just trying to garnish, not garnish, but gather information on where they're coming from towards that spawn site when Ethan was going to try to, when we're going to have Austin to try to come back to try to get that flank, right? So very well done. This is going to keep Envy alive. We talked about how we're going to get close to the ultimate right now, and the advantage here for Envy is that they built that up, and Hiko is still only at 1 orb point at the beginning of that round because he picked up the defuse 2 rounds ago. So they still have a chance to put something into work for Envy and try to make this a 12-10. And looking at things so far, it's just Mummy switching things up, going away from the operator and going to a Vandal just to try to add a little bit more pressure against this Steel defense on the A site.
Drone will give away the position of Mummy. Not afraid, really. There's no damage-dealing ults he has to concern himself with. There will be a shock dart coming through, but actually goes a little too deep for the initial target. And there's the ult. The ult is freely popped as Hiko used his ult a few rounds ago for information, and now they can't cancel it. They don't have any damage-dealing ults, but look at Marv on the back end of this play. Marv is going to be the big piece to this. Will catch the first. Does he get the second? No. Asuna getting one puts them in a better position, because if Marv had killed him, you've got Steel on long who's trapped inside the ult. It would have been another free kill potentially. That would have been a huge swing for Envy.
They don't know that FNS is here though, so he might get a huge kill onto Asuna. Still doing some work towards the A side though. They're moving in towards his side block.
Yeah, there's the tap on the spike after the neural theft comes through. Steel peels off after getting it halfway. And now it's come down to Crashies. He's got a recon dart, but he has to wait. Can't really do much. Hiko will get the defuse. It will be 13-9 in favor of 100 Thieves as they take the first map in this series. We are going to go ahead and throw things to a break. When we come back, we will break down that